So my name is Ramanuj. I'm from Lawsico, and today we are going to speak about our writing assignments, and I'm going to actually explain why we do writing assignments and what our thought process is behind it and how you can do well in the writing assignments. Okay. So before I begin, in fact, I would like to know how many of you are attending today for the first time. Uh, can you just write yes on the chat? If you are attending for the first time, just write yes on the chat. Okay. Anybody else attending for the first time today? These sessions with me? Okay. So great. So mostly we have people who have attended before. Okay. Rajesh Yadav is there. He's attending for the first time. Okay. So we have a couple of people who are attending for the first time, and most of you have already attended before. And I have been taking these extra sessions. These are not strictly part of any curriculum of any of the courses, but this is like an extra class that I take. I try to take it every week. Sometimes, I miss in some of the weeks, but mostly my effort is to take it every week. And we talk about writing, we talk about LinkedIn, we talk about networking, and the objective is that you have to do these things to succeed in your career. And if you can learn these things quickly, that can be great. And we are very, like, we focus on these things very much because we feel that we are responsible for your ultimate performance in your career. And these are the areas that we sometimes leave out. A lot of lawyers and professionals, we leave out these things, don't work on them at all. So on one hand, it is very important that you have the right skills, you have the knowledge, right, which through which you can deliver results to people. And we, whatever said and done, legal knowledge and legal skill are like, these are like very critical skills. So this is what is very important, that one thing is that people, we should be having the right skills. But if we don't have uh, the way to demonstrate it to the world, if the people out in the world cannot understand how good we are, then it will diminish our success somewhere. It is possible to get clients, it is possible to get a job, it is possible to get work without ever letting people know anything, like theoretically possible. And there are a lot of lawyers who are running their practices like that. They don't believe in sharing their knowledge, you don't believe in demonstrating it to the rest of the world, but at the same time they're getting work. I mean, it's not impossible, but you have to understand that it also has a cost. If you do not demonstrate, if you do not make an effort, it is harder to succeed. And that is a situation where the older lawyers who have spent already many years have an inherent advantage, right? But when you are starting out, we are trying to learn skills faster. Like most of you who have joined our courses, your objective is that I should learn XYZ skills very quickly so that I can do better in my career. I can get better jobs, or maybe I can do better in my law practice, or maybe I'm doing a refresher, whatever it may be. That is the objective, that I want to learn new skills, new knowledge faster in a systematic way. But how do you signal it to the world? How do you demonstrate to the world that, look, I know these things, I am good at that, right? And that is something where these exercises are extremely helpful. So we try to have these networking exercises, we have writing exercises in our courses, so that you can start apart from learning and having the skill and the knowledge, you can demonstrate it also. So let me tell you a story. Okay. Why marketing, or it's not necessarily marketing, business development, whatever you call, but in the end of the day, you have to market yourself to the world, sell yourself to the world. People should want to come to you. It's not like you're going to go to people and say, please give me work, please give me work, I can do this. Not, that's not the objective, right? This is that people realize how good you are and they come to you. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a few stories. Actually, I'm going to tell you 2-3 stories. The first story I want to tell you about is about sliced bread. So you guys know what is sliced bread, right? Whoever doesn't know what is sliced bread, just tell me. Just write yes. If you don't know sliced bread, what is sliced bread, write in the chat, I don't know what is sliced bread. Sliced bread. Okay. So Anuj Mishra is saying, I don't know what is sliced bread. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to quickly show you what is sliced bread. It's very common thing. You have all eaten sliced bread in your life, of course. This is sliced bread. Okay, I'm just googling the image of a sliced bread. You'll know what is sliced bread. Okay, this is sliced bread. You can see, right, everywhere. This bread slices, right? There's a loaf of bread and it is sliced. Before it is sold to you, it is already in the factory, it is sliced and given to you. And this is such a simple thing, right? Today, 99% of the bread sold in the world is sold in this format. It is sliced bread. Okay. But there was a time when there was no sliced bread in the market. Okay. It is so simple. If you have sliced bread, you can make sandwiches. You can, like, it's just so much easier, and you don't have to spend time like cutting and chopping the bread. But that's how bread was consumed. There, on the other hand, you have bread loaf. So I'll show you what is bread loaf. Bread loaf is basically unsliced bread, right? Which looks like this basically, right? This is a bread loaf. And there was a person who decided that, you know what, there is a big problem with like I should slice my bread and sell. Okay, rather than selling bread like this, I will slice it and sell, and that will work because it is so much more useful. And that he was right, because today 99% of bread in the market is sold not like this kind of bread, but 99% is like this, right? This kind of bread is sold. Now, why am I telling you this story? Okay, you must be curious by now, you know, what is the relevance of the story. And very interestingly, when sliced bread was launched, this person tried for 9 years to popularize sliced bread. 9 years. Okay. And for 9 years, he could not succeed. Nobody will buy sliced bread. Like, maybe some people bought, but mostly people will not buy. And he shut down his business. Later on, somebody else came in and took the same concept and started selling sliced bread. But what they said, like how they positioned, is that they said that, you know, they ran ad campaigns, and they said that when you are leaving for office, do you know the few days on which you have the bread on your table, but you don't eat and you run out and go to the office straight? Now imagine if you have the bread already sliced, you just had to spread butter on it and you can have it on the way. Wouldn't you like that? And this is how they started selling sliced bread to Americans. So first there was a product, and the product itself was not selling. And then somebody came and added a story and a use case and explained why this sliced bread is more important than the loaf bread, right? Why is it better? And suddenly everybody started buying sliced bread. And today, you know, sliced bread is the norm. Nobody, like, you have to look for shops where you can find a loaf bread which is not sliced. And that has become the reality, right? So what I'm trying to tell you, just because you have a good idea, a good product, or a good skill, does not mean that people are going to jump at it and buy it. Especially some, like, sliced bread is a no-brainer. Like, you can understand by looking at the product that it is useful. Still, people did not take it. Now imagine a lawyer. You are a fantastic lawyer. You are brilliant. You can win the case. But how are people going to decide that you're good? Or maybe you're a great, like, you're a great law student. You have done all the work. You're brilliant. Your legal analysis is top notch. Even you have a lot of good skills, right? You can draft contracts. You can negotiate. But how is a job, somebody who's taking a job interview, how are they going to understand that you are that great or you are so good? And you can take it into any scenario, right? Maybe it is for promotion. There are 3 lawyers in the firm, and they are doing, like, it seems like boss may not understand, or the law firm partners may not understand that you are smarter, you're doing more work, right? So marketing wins, and marketing is very important. And I know we are not talking about go and violate BCI norms and all of that. Within BCI norms, can we do something, like within the boundaries of law, can we do something that helps us to prevent a situation like the first sliced bread? And we want to succeed, like, we are good, we have the skill, we have the knowledge. Now how do we succeed? And this is something to seriously consider, seriously think about. You need to have a strategy. It is not going to happen just like that. So a lot of lawyers, old lawyers especially, will tell you, don't worry, you go to the court, you keep doing things, you keep appearing in cases, you keep doing your work well every day. People will find out, you don't have to do anything. Okay. And I very strongly disagree, very strongly disagree. So I will give you an example. Okay. So you must be knowing of Venugopal, right? He's a very famous senior lawyer. He's well respected. People respect him like anything. He's in the Supreme Court, one of the top lawyers in India. So what Venugopal used to do is that he used to, like, even after he became a lawyer, right? He did not need marketing. But what he would do is that he will purchase books, okay, not necessarily written by him, even important books like CPC, CRPC. He will buy these books, purchase these books, and send it to the libraries of law colleges. And in the first page, it will be written that, with regards from Venugopal's chamber, right? Whatever. I don't know the exact language, but something to that extent. And imagine how many people came to, and that time he was not a famous lawyer, right? How many young lawyers came to know about Venugopal through that, right? And it is still happening. Like, we recently tied up with a law firm, and they're taking two law firms took major role in our civil litigation course, and they provided us for free of cost, right? They signed MOUs with us. They sent for free of cost. They gave us a lot of knowledge. They gave us the documents, their templates. They obviously redacted the client details after removing all that, templates and formats they gave us. Said you can give it in your course with due acknowledgement to us. Why are they doing it? Their idea is simple. We are a Supreme Court law firm, or I'm practicing in Delhi. If all over India people come to know, like, civil lawyers get trained with our material, then they will know us as an authority, and they will approach us one day for work. Like, they will think of us, at least they know our name. So if somebody asks them, do you know somebody in Supreme Court, do you know somebody in Delhi, they'll be like, yes, I know somebody, I'll connect you, right? That is the importance. That is the importance of getting people to discover you, getting people to know about you. It's very important. Even your name, even people know your name and they remember it. It's very important. So how do we get our students to start? This is a thinking that we tried working on, and you can also tell us. I'm open to suggestions. Okay, we thought that people are studying these various things, and they are getting to know things. Let's say you are studying M&A law, and you now know takeover code, or how to draft a shareholder agreement. You are engaging with critical issues of shareholder agreement. How is it that you are going to tell the world that, look, I know these things? Right? So if today you go for an interview, or if you approach a recruiter and say, I want to do M&A, they will ask you, have you ever done M&A before? Have you done even one transaction? And if you have done, great. If you haven't done, they're like, no, I haven't done. Then the recruiter will tell you, you know what? Why don't you stick to what you have already done? And if you're a fresher, then it's even a bigger problem that you haven't done anything at all. But if you can demonstrate that, look, I have written these 10-12 articles also. Even 10-12 is minimum. I'm not saying that you should restrict yourself to that, but even if you have 6, 8, 10, 12 articles that you have written on merger and acquisition, interesting topics on merger acquisition, okay, some may be very basic, some may be very written on some real problems on M&A or anything. Even there are basic questions. If you write on those things that very basic, like when do you sign a SHA and when do you sign SSPA? What is the basic difference between a SHA and SSPA? If you write on this, then I can guarantee you, after you publish, thousands of lawyers are going to read it. They are going to read it, and they will remember your name as a person who understands SHA and SSPA. They learned it from you. They'll remember your name. And this is how you demonstrate your skill and knowledge and interest to the rest of the world. This is a very powerful way of doing so. Okay. Now, one more story I'm going to tell you before I start. Before I jump to the next thing, like actually talking about how to write. So one critical thing I noticed, this is also a learning experience, how I realized the power of article writing. There are 2-3 people I have seen, they started blogging and it took their career to like a next level altogether. So one of them were our student, Puneet Vasin. Okay. She's also a friend now. But at that time, she was a student of almost within the first couple of batches, she had taken one of those batches in diploma in entrepreneurship administration and business laws. In that course, she so as a part of that, she started writing articles, and also she was like, I encouraged her to blog, and she started writing. She published her first 2-3, I don't know first or not, but 2-3 articles she published on IP Reader's blog. And then she told me a fascinating story. She said, after I published this today, I shared it on my Facebook. My neighbor came up to me. We live in the same housing society in Bombay. And my neighbor came up to me and said, I didn't know that you do this kind of things. I need help in cyber law. So can you tell me about blah, blah case? Like, what should I do? A celebrity approached her, okay, in a divorce matter where there was a cyber law angle, that the wife had misused, misused the person's data, like had hacked into his phone, installed some software, all of that, and he wanted to know if he can use that, and she had written on this topic. So that celebrity found her on LinkedIn, reached out to her on LinkedIn to have a conversation, that this is the only lawyer on the internet who has written on this kind of things. So this is the power, right? So I hope I have given you enough reasons to take your writing very seriously, and that is our objective, that you keep writing every month and you publish. Writing alone is not enough. Get it published. If you are not able to get it published, bother me. We'll help you to make it publishing worthy and get it published on IP Reader's blog. Ideally, if you want to publish somewhere else, you're free. We are not going to stop you. Just make sure you mention that you have done it as a part of the coursework. That's all we want. Okay, you can publish anywhere otherwise. So now let's talk about, so I would like to know at this point if anybody has any questions. If you have any questions, can you type it on the chat, please? So did you all understand? If you're clear till now, just write yes. If you have any question, type the question, or just say yes, so that I know that I have everybody on board and everybody is clear. Okay, so I have a lot of yeses, as you can see. I'm sure you guys can also see the chat. So great. So now my question is that, since most of you are like older students and you have been around in our system for a while, how many of you have actually written an article before? So far, actually written an article and published. If you have written an article and published, okay, then just write done. Just write done on the chat, so I'll know how many of you have actually written an article and published so far. Yeah, if you haven't done, write not yet. Okay, so a lot of people have not published yet. Okay, no problem. So like, I understand a lot of people have not written and published also. So no problem, it's great. So I want to ask the people who have already published, okay, did you benefit in any way whatsoever? I want to hear, like, if you have a story, then I'm going to give you speaking permission. You can go unmute and share the story. Or if you prefer to just write it on the on the chat also, you can write your story. I'll be very happy. Publishing means that you have published it on a blog or published even on LinkedIn. If you have published, I'm okay. Like wherever, doesn't matter. Have you you have written? See, writing is one thing, but after writing, if you keep it in your computer, what is the use of it? It has to be go out for public to the discover somewhere, right? And publishing, I discourage people from publishing on legal journals because nobody reads legal journals. Our goal is not to become sliced bread. Our goal is to become, people to discover us. Like, you are writing something amazing, you're writing something insightful, you want people to find out about it. If you even compile a useful data, useful list, whatever it is, we want people to see it, read it, benefit from it. Then only you are going to benefit from it, right? So my question is very simple. Okay, have you published it somewhere where people have read it? Okay, Bhavna is saying that yes, it helped me a lot. People appreciated, and some of my friends told me my mistakes. Wow, that's so great, right? You got feedback on the article also. People told you how to improve it. So next time you can write better. Uzair Ahmed Khan, I got appreciated by my professors. Okay. So Bhavna, do you want to come actually share in your own voice, like what happened when you published? What did you publish on? How was the experience? Bhavna, are you there? Can you come online and share? Do you mind? If you don't want to, you can write no in the chat and don't have to come. Then I'll ask somebody else. Otherwise, you can unmute and start speaking. Okay, Bhavna is saying I could, but I am in office, so I can't make it. No problem, Bhavna. It's all right. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, Kashish, I definitely want you to come online and share your experience, because I know you have written a lot of articles and published a lot of articles. I think you have written how many, by 30, 40 articles you have written till now. Why don't you come and share your experience and how it improved your skills or your network, anything. Can you please come and share? 30 articles. Okay, great. So Kashish has written around 30 articles and published 30 articles. So Kashish, please come online. I'm waiting for you. Just unmute and start speaking.
Hi, sir. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
So my article writing has exclusively on the IP Readers blog, because I think I got your opinion and I agreed that the IP Readers blog has a lot of following, so I would get more more views on from there. So my strategy was to write about articles and topics that would make me more noticeable in the legal field. So in my context, what I'm trying to say is I am a fourth year law student and who has an interest in M&A field, and somewhat I would like to specialize in banking law in the future. I would like to work in the banking sector industry legally. So what I'm trying to say is I wrote articles on banking law and general M&A topics. So it helped me grow my LinkedIn network from a very meager number to to a 2,000 followership on LinkedIn now, and it has helped my writing skills. It has improved my writing skills, and I think you have helped me a lot in the process, and I appreciate all the effort coming from Law Seco, and I would like to move ahead and write more articles. That's
sure.
it.
So when you started writing your first article, what were the problems you were facing? Like, what was the challenge? What would you say the top 2-3 big challenges you faced when you were writing?
I think the first was to start, and then the second problem would be to write about what. Like, you can't find relevant topics if you don't have a lot of knowledge on that field. And if I attend your session today, I would have a problem of finding out about topics that I would have to write upon.
Right.
Like right now, I still feel that when we have this session, we should have a list of something, like a list of topics that everybody can brainstorm about and write an article about. Like,
so how did you solve? Don't give a suggestion yet. How did you solve your problem?
Okay, so I thought of I took your strategy of answering a question, like taking a topic and thinking of questions that I had to write about.
Right. So you found questions that people will want to ask, and then you started answering those questions in your article.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
But from what I understand, you also went and spoke to a lot of people and asked them for suggestions on what you should write on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yes. I did that. So yes,
so how did
I
that
talked to people. I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
No, I was asking, how did that process go, and did it help?
So yes, I talked to a lot of people on LinkedIn, and they gave me suggestions on one of my articles that I had written, and to improve upon it and give more topics to write upon. And it helped me in the process of knowing how to think like a lawyer. like what were the people thinking and what was the specific problem that I had to solve by writing an article. So I think that should be the approach.
Okay. And how is it helping in your career, if at all?
I got an internship opportunity, I think, because of my articles that I mentioned in my CV at Wadia Gandhi in Bombay in June. So that has helped me, and I think like writing more articles would give me more interview points, as the Law Seco teams tells me that I would have more topics and things to talk about in my interview
Okay,
at a
so
law firm.
actually Kashish is being very humble and he's not telling the entire story. Somebody from Wadia Gandhi approached him on LinkedIn and said that, do you want to intern with us and send your CV and confirm, like in 2 days, like he got a confirmation that,
Yes,
please
I
come
did.
in. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And this is the power, like, people are applying to a firm like Wadia Gandhi regularly and not getting getting a response at all. And imagine a senior associate from the firm sticking her neck out and saying that, what, we want to intern with us, please come. I mean, it is an unheard of story in, even in national law universities. People say that if you go to a national law university, you have advantage, blah, blah. So Kashish goes to Amity Law School, not a national law university, but he has these kind of opportunities. And not only that, I have been told, because people know that I am associated with IPDS blog. So there are law firm partners who have reached out to me and said, who is this Kashish Khattar? Can you connect? Will he come and intern in Bangalore with us? Will he come and intern in blah blah place with us? Okay, like, can you connect me with this person? Like, seems like a very talented person. Now, why is that happening? Because Kashish has started writing. And by the way, when Kashish was started writing initially, okay, it wasn't so great. Okay, it was like just like anybody else what they write. But after, like, 2 article, 3 article, 4 article, 5 article, he started getting better with every article. And now Kashish just writes great articles. Like, he figures out the topic himself. He surprises me with the topics that he's finding. He will come with the topic. He will tell me. He will write and give it to me. He still makes mistakes. Still, sometimes I give him feedback that these questions are not answered, or these are the grammatical mistakes or whatever, editing mistakes. Get it edited properly. But in the end of the day, he can independently write. And how much time does it take you to research and write one article, Kashish? How many hours does it take you? Kashish, unmute and speak, please. We can't hear you. Okay, Kashish is saying
Sir, 2-3 days. Yes, sir.
10, 12
Sir,
hours.
so in my college days, I take 2 or 3 days, and I think it would be now 10 or 12 hours of effort that I put in to write an article.
Correct. Great. Thank you so much for your sharing. And so basically, Kashish has shared some links also. He can share. He has written all over 30 articles. Kashish also share some of the article links in the group, right? That will be great. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, we'll continue now. Okay. So, what I wanted to do by this is that, to give you a reason to write. And, I can tell you that I got my initial set of, like, because of writing, I have got a lot of opportunity. I have got publishers coming to me and asking me to contribute in books. Because of writing, I have got, like, invitation to speak in events. I have gotten a lot of clients. I must have made, like, many lakhs and lakhs of rupees from my writing, simply because people read it and then they want your advice, or they want to get on a call with you, or they want you to help with them some work. So that is the possibility. Getting a job is great, but you can literally build a practice based on your writing. And this is happening. A lot of people seriously write. I can give one example, at least. Jay Sehta, he was my junior in law college in NUJS. And from his first year, he started writing on gambling laws, started a blog called glaws.in. By the time he graduated, he joined Luthra and Luthra for 6 months, and he left and he started his own gambling law practice. He works with all the top, gaming companies in India, casinos. Everybody is his client. Okay, fantasy sports, everybody is his client, and he's doing great work. Goa government is coming up with some, Casino City. They have made him like an advisor there. So that's an opportunity. He's a very young lawyer who did really well, because once you start writing, people read it and they believe in your expertise. They can see that you know. It's a concrete proof that you know. So this is why you're also, by the way, if you write bad articles, which are bad language, bad grammar, bad, logical flow is not there, it's hard to read. If you do all these things, then it's going to be not so good. Okay, it will compromise your practice. Like instead of working well, it will backfire. So Bhavna has shared something from about her also. She has said, I am a legal news writer of a blog named Fast Forward Justice. My articles are appreciated and encouraged others to write. People were like, I also will start writing. My research and writing skills got improved. Also, it made my connections stronger. People personally message me asking for suggestions that how I started and how they can start to write. Okay. So exactly, like your network increases, people start respecting you, people start believing in your expertise. So it's fantastic. You must, this is the opportunity. So I think now you have very good reasons, and I hope that you are now more inspired to write. Okay. But can I know that, what kind of problems you are facing? If you have any questions that you want me to take up right now, I'm very happy to do so. Just tell me what is the question that you want me to take up right now. Okay, so one question Nataraja has is about selection of topics. Then Shushant Anaukar is saying we have to write short article. Okay, whether we have to write a short article or long article, we'll discuss that. Rajesh Yadav is asking how can being new in this field one can write article. Okay, very good. I thank you, Rajesh, for asking this question. Okay, so you know what? On selection of topics, I did a whole entire how to research. Dhanush is asking, great. Nataraj is asking, making of questions on topics selected, very good. Uzair is asking, sometimes I don't find content related to the article. I'm in research, how to do research. Bhavna is saying, when I start writing and I have enough material, sometimes I'm unable to connect all the material. And I face difficulty arranging the material at its best. Very good, very good. Ahana Datta, as a novice, how will we start? Udita, referencing used in article. Yes, Udita, today I'm going to answer this question for sure. I know I have missed it out on the last few sessions. Okay. So on selection of topics, everybody who has a question on selection of topics, I have done one session on selection on topics. Like one entire session like this, I talked only about how to select good topics. Okay. And how to decide the title. And that is available on your learning management system. Okay. If it is not available, you reach out to Priyanka, she'll make sure it is available. But I know it is available. Check it out, because I don't want to repeat it in that much detail again. Okay, but I will touch it in a very brief way. Select a topic which you care about. Number one, if possible, you care about. Dale Carnegie once said that only speak about things that you have been, that is in your heart, that you have been dying to talk about. Okay, do not talk about boring things or cool things or what you think other people wants to hear. What is inside you burning out, things that are burning inside you. Talk about those things. That will always connect, because people will relate to it and they will understand and they are going to love it. They are going to love you for talking about that. Okay. He gives an example. So he used to run a public speaking class, and in that class once he gave a topic. People had to come and speak about it, and the topic was a blue door. Okay, a blue door. What can you talk about? This is such a random topic. What can you say about a blue door? Okay. And then one woman came up, and after she was done speaking about a blue door, people were crying. Okay. People were crying and they connected with it, and everybody clapped. What did she talk? People were moved. People were stunned after that talk. So what did she talk about? She talked about how she was growing up as a child, and there was a blue door on the garden. Okay. And she used to sit in front of the blue door, which used to be shut from outside, and used to want to go out on the garden and play. And she wanted to be free. She wanted to, and she tells like what she used to think about night, what she used to, she used to see the door in her dreams, and she wanted to get out, and she shared whatever she felt. and people were stunned and moved and inspired by that story, and how she came to a big city and eventually one day as a grown up person and made a life. And in a way, that blue door was symbolic and inspirational for her, right? So she talked about what really mattered to her. So when you talk about something that really mattered to you, it's going to make a difference. Okay. So that is one approach, but that is not the only approach. What is the other approach? The other approach is to talk about what the other person really cares about. Okay. So you have to identify an audience. So you can decide that, okay, you know what? So you have to discover what is it that people are actually wanting to hear, their burning. So one is your burning desire, your burning questions, your burning doubts, your story that you really want to talk about, or you never wanted to talk about, but now you are opening up all those. And on the other hand, there are things that people really care about, right? And you cannot write for everybody. Like, it's not possible that I'm going to write something which everybody is going to love in the world, because there are different people in different categories that care about different things. Neither is it your job to write something that everybody is going to care about. You are going to write about something that a certain group of people care about. So it can be like, okay, I'm writing for startup founders. So in this country, so you can think that in this country right now, startup founders, what kind of problems they are facing. You can talk to 2-3 startup founders. What are the biggest problems you're facing legally? What do you think about law? What do you think about? What are the questions that come to your mind? What questions would you like to be answered by lawyers or by any expert on law or on startups, right? So you ask and you can find out that what are the things that they are really bothered about. So one thing that they're really bothered about, all startup founders, is that funding. Where will I get funding, and how will the funding happen? How will it work out? How does it matter? Like, what is the process? So if you can start talking about that, and you can give people some resources on that, if you can give them answers on that, then I can guarantee you that a lot of these people will come on board with you. Okay, like they will be interested in reading, they will share it in their network. Okay, so that's gonna happen. And that's how you choose your topics. Okay, you either write about something you deeply care about, or you try to write about something that other people are already wanting to know, a problem they're already facing, and there is not enough answer they're getting. You can do something better. So give those answers. Like, for example, a lot of people in this country want to know how to file a cyber complaint. So he wrote a detailed article on cyber complaint. Not only that, we included the details that we included a database of the offices where you can go and file these complaints in India, in different states, in different cities. We included that database also, and then a lot of people read it. So what we have to do is that we have to choose topics like this, and you have to go a little deeper. It is not an easy task. Okay, you should not take it lightly that I'm going to write on anything. You can, when you're starting, you can write on anything. The other approach I saw that really works for a novice person is to ask others that, what should I write about? Ask other writers. They already have a lot of topics. They cannot write on everything. You ask them, they will tell you. You can ask me, I will answer. You text me on WhatsApp and ask me, sir, what can I write about? I'll give you topics if you can't find. And then also keep your independent search also. Don't become dependent on others for everything. And you can ask, like, say your target, let's say you want to impress bank managers because they give you matters. Great. Then write for bank managers. Then you also ask bank managers, what kind of things do you want to know? Okay, if you are trying to get a job in Competition Commission of India, what kind of article can I write that people in Competition Commission of India are going to read definitely? They are thinking of these questions today, and they will read my article. They'll be impressed. They will want to connect with me. That kind of article, right? You write on that. So this is a very, very powerful approach, and I have seen this working. I have seen government reaching out to me or to other people, asking for advice, asking for policy inputs. Okay, so we were writing a lot on our blog about blockchain and smart contracts and legalities around that. I had like a secretary of the IT from West Bengal government reaching out to us saying that, you are from Calcutta originally, you're a Bengali, can you give us some inputs on blah blah. And it happens. That is the power of writing and blogging. Imagine, like, it's such a, you feel so great, right? I had one of my I won't say a student, a prodigy, somebody I was mentoring. Even her, like, Bangladesh Outsourcing Association reached out to her for drafting their outsourcing policy. They wanted inputs on that, and she was writing a lot of articles on outsourcing law around the world. They reached out to her. Outsourcing journal, which magazine, outsourcing magazine, from which used to be published from London, reached out to her to write the cover story and paid her for writing that. Right? So imagine like the power of writing and what all can happen if you keep writing this. Okay, so but this happens when you choose the topics wisely. Either you care about it or deeply care about it, or somebody in the world deeply cares about it. You're trying to get to a certain kind of people and you write for them, right? So this is one answer. The second question I'm going to take is Udita's question, because I think it is such an important question. How do you reference in your article? So very good question, Udita. Now, how you reference is that, see, there is a difference between journal articles and blogging. Okay, when you're writing on the internet, the approach is very different. You don't want to give a long bibliography and this, footnotes which are like journal style footnotes, like Oxford or Harvard Blue Book and all this kind of footnoting is not necessary. Okay, but you credit people. Your job is to give people adequate credit. Ranjan Dhar sir, please go on. Whatever is, I mean, I don't know. Can you please go on? Otherwise, I'll have to remove you from this. Okay, if you do not go silent. Okay, okay. So there is no. I can't see any mute button. Also, I would have done it myself. And it is you have to do it. Okay, like you have to figure out a way to mute yourself. Okay, so great. Okay, so the question is, so once you have identified, let's say you read an idea somewhere, number one, you are not going to copy paste it. That is beyond question. You're not even going to paraphrase it. Okay, do not just like take that sentence and write in a different way. That's a very lazy and I would say pathetic way of doing it. Okay, get the idea, then write it yourself. Okay, get the idea, assimilate it into what you are trying to do, and then write. This is the right way of doing it. You don't do it in the wrong way. Okay, because it's not worth doing it. The second thing is that once you write it, you are going to give adequate credit. That is a big thing, right? You have to give credit where credit is due. And how do you do it? So let's say I read an article by, let's say, Abhyuday, okay, or Komal ma'am. They have written some article and I read it. And after reading it, I realized that, I want to use this original idea by Komal ma'am in my article. Okay. They have said that, let's say that this structure, X structure is better than Y structure. Then I want to use that idea in my article. Then I will say, I'll give the credit to that person. Okay. I will say, yes, according to Komal ma'am, and then I may put a hyperlink to the article where she has already written. Hyperlink. If you don't know hyperlink, I'll show you how to do a hyperlink. So let's say there is this article. Okay, this is on how great CEOs needed coaching. Okay, I'll show you. This is the topic. Can you actually see it? You can't see it. Sorry, I have to share the screen first. So it basically, there is this article which talks about CEOs, why they need coaching. Okay, so now let's say I want to. So there is one idea. Great coaches see things you can't see. Okay, and I want to write about this in my article. Okay, and I got this idea from here. So what I will do is that I will be copying this URL. Okay, and when I am writing about this thing myself, I'm going to hyperlink it. I'll show you how to do hyperlink. Okay, let's say this is what I'm writing. I hope all of you can see this. If you can't see, just write in the chat no, so that I will know. How to become a great CEO through coaching. Okay, now I'm going to hyperlink it like this. I select the text and in Windows it is there will be some shortcut. I'm using a Mac computer. It is the command and K. Okay, so this opens up, and then you put the link over here and you apply. Then it looks like this, right? You have seen this before, I'm sure. So this is called a hyperlink. This is a hyperlink, and this is the URL, and this blue thing is a hyperlink. And this is how you refer it on the internet. I'm sure you have seen it many times and clicked through many times. But this is what you essentially need to do, okay, for referencing. So while you are referencing, remember that you have to give credit. Don't take credit that is not yours. Somebody else have done something, then you have to give them credit and not take the credit yourself. And you can give some hyperlinks to the relevant material, okay, that wherever you've taken it from, you can give a hyperlink, or may even choose not to give a hyperlink. Even that is fine. But you can say that, Komal Shah on her article on IPleader's blog, dated so and so. Dated also is not necessary. This is not so formal on the internet. On her IPleader's blog article, claimed that blah blah blah. Okay, and then you hyperlink. It's actually better to hyperlink than not to do so. But sometimes you may choose not to hyperlink. Even that is fine. Okay. So this is how you do referencing on the internet. It is informal. It is not so formal like a journal, and this is very very important, because a lot of times we get comments on our blog where people say, you have stolen your ideas from blah blah post, and you have not even acknowledged it. But once you acknowledge it, say that, hey, I'm taking this idea from here, then nobody can touch you. Nobody can say anything. That's the beauty of academic writing. You take something from somewhere, but you acknowledge it. Do not, if you copy paste it, it will be a copyright problem. Never do that. So, and do not even paraphrase it. That is such a lazy thing to do. Nobody will respect you for just paraphrasing other people's ideas. You should have your own way of doing it, and that also we teach you how to do that. So, in your learning management system, look for this video. Another class I had where I taught people how to research, how to actually, there's an article, I'll show you this article also, and I'll share the link right now. You read this. It's the biggest mistake people make while writing a legal article. Okay. And that is to, not to structure your article, not to actually start Googling right away. Okay. These are the mistakes. So you have to not make those mistakes. I'm going to share the link with all of you so that you don't make that mistake. Please do read it right after the class, at least. Okay. Make sure you read it. So if there's a process, you frame the questions, you frame the structure of your article, then you start your research, and that's how you go about it. The other question that I'm going to take today, because we are running out of time. So Udita, is your question about referencing answered, or do you have any follow-up questions on that? I'll be happy to answer if you have. Okay, nothing from Udita's side. So no problem. Okay, now the next question that I want to address today is that, as a novice, are you the right person to write something? The thing is that whether you write an article or not has nothing to do with whether you're novice, whether you're experienced. Most experienced people are not writing anyway. Do you see Ram Jethmalani or Harish Salve writing amazing legal articles every day? Clearly, they are not writing, right? They don't have time, or they don't even care. They don't like, how does it matter to them? But for people like us, we can write. We don't have to be famous to write an article. This is that generation is gone. Now the content is created by young people like us. You go on YouTube, you go on Instagram, you go on the blogging world and see who's creating the best content. We are creating, our generation, our people even younger than us, 15-year, 16-year, 19-year-old kids are writing. They are creating amazing content. It is up to us. It is not up to the old people who are, successful lawyers. Only they have a voice. They can say all that. That era is gone. But you have to have something worthwhile to say, and that is all. You have to do your research. You have to identify the question. You have to identify a worthwhile topic. You have to answer the real question in depth, not some superficial nonsense. Most of the people, when they write in their college project and all of that, they write some superficial nonsense, blah 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 blah, like some heavy words, some nonsense like, it's called gassing, puffing, huffing, whatever, like, faffing, gas, it's etc. It's called in colleges. Okay, don't do that. Please don't do that. It is a waste of your time, waste of readers' time. They will never trust you. If they see your name on an article, they'll close it. They'll never read it. Okay. There was a senior in my college. Every time he used to write a sentence, it would be like a paragraph. Like none of his sentences, it will run into 500 words, one sentence. And we used to make fun of it, and we would never read. Like we couldn't understand what he was trying to say in any article. And he used to take pride in it. Look, my language is so difficult, nobody can understand. What is the point in doing something like that? Don't do that. Do not gas, do not write nonsense, do not write superficial things. Answer questions that in simplest possible language that will help people. And if you can do that, there is so much to write on law, so much, right? Even the basic things, nobody explains. Like, what is the difference between murder and culpable homicide not amounting to murder? Just explain this. Maybe explain, people have so much problem about Salman Khan got free, he got bail. Why did he get bail? Explain how it happened step by step. You're a lawyer, you can understand and you can explain. If you explain it, I promise you, even journalists will come and give you credit and cover that. I have had journalists who are like leading TV channels. They come to me, they say that I wanted to understand from you because your language I can understand. Can you explain what is the law on so and so? There are a few people who have written, like Geneva Convention is there right now. It is on talks because our wing commander Abhinandan got caught in Pakistan, fell from the sky, he got ejected, and they arrested him there. And they are sending him back. But there was this question about how Pakistan has to treat him under Geneva Convention, right? And then, does Geneva Convention apply to such a situation? Because a war has not been formally declared. Okay, so does Geneva Convention apply to this situation? So there are people who have written on this and published. Okay, is there any famous international lawyer writing about this? No, there are students. There's a master students from South Asian University in Delhi. He has written a great article about it, and it was published by The Wire. And you can publish anywhere. So one thing about publication, remember that publish in places which quickly publish. There are a lot of places you send it to them, they'll take a month to give you a reply, whether they're going to publish it or not. That is a waste of time. You can't sit for so long and wait. So give it to people who will publish in 2 days, 3 days, 48 hours. That's the kind of approach you want from the publication. In IPDS blog, you send it to us. If it is not published, you message me, I'll get it published very soon, within 24 hours, within 48 hours. That's my responsibility. But that is how it should be, because you have written something, it needs to go out immediately, not after 7 days. Okay. So this is not even 7 days. Like most of the journals and all these magazines, they'll take a month to publish, to tell you whether they're going to publish or not. Don't put up with such nonsense. It should be published within like 48 hours. Okay. That is the standard. And if we can't publish, sometimes you'll get too many articles, we can't publish so fast, tell us, I will put in extra resource and get it published. Tell me, like contact me. So I'll just share my phone number with all of you. And also, if you're writing something and you feel that it's not getting published, even our team rejects it, and you don't know what to do, reach out to me, reach out to your teacher in whichever class that you are in, and ask them for help, that guide me. How can I make it better so that it becomes publishable? Not everything is publishable, right? Not everything that everybody writes is publishable. It has to have a quality to get published. So, but if you're not reaching that quality, tell us. It is our responsibility to teach you. Take full benefit of that. It is my promise to you that we will take care of it. Okay. It's 9:05 already, and I think I should be wrapping up. Before I go, I want to know from you, was today's session useful? Just share it. Not here. You don't have to share it here. Right now, open your phone, take your WhatsApp. In your WhatsApp group, just share the feedback on today's class. One is that I need to know it myself. Second, the people who did not attend the session today, I want them to also know that there was a good session. At least they'll then take the pain of watching it later on their learning management system. And I know all of you have joined our courses, paid a lot of money, and we are trying our best that you get the benefit of it. And you must also try, but let us together be a wonderful learning community. And I'm going to read all of the feedback. I will also get my feedback. Any suggestions on how I can improve, tell me right now, because I'm happy to know what else can I do, what else can I cover in the next session. Nataraja is saying it is useful. Thank you. Rajesh is asking, please tell us how you write an article. How I write an article, I'll do that. Maybe one day I'll write an article in front of you on on this platform itself, on Zoom. You can see how I'm writing. We'll do that sometimes. Udita is saying thanks. Thank you, Udita. Anybody else? Yeah, sure, Anuj. We'll do it sometimes. I'll write an article on from scratch online in front of you. And you can all join and contribute in the writing process. Okay, anything I can do to improve? Okay, so please, again, I'm requesting with folded hands, please go to your groups, on your WhatsApp groups, and write. Okay, and one more request is that do share what kind of things you're learning from us on LinkedIn. Just go and write on LinkedIn that this is what I'm taking away from today's class. Okay, and and do go and write this on LinkedIn. That also helps people come to know that you are engaging in this way. New opportunities will come in your way, and also it will help to spread the word about Loss Eco, which we need to spread to succeed. Okay, we need your help. Please do write on LinkedIn. Just write this is the format. This is what I learned today with a class with Ramanuj. Okay, and you write whatever you learned, whatever you're taking away. Write on LinkedIn, tag Loss Eco, tag us, tag me, and just do that. Okay, and I will definitely be happy to read and share on WhatsApp group also. Humblest request, please do this for me. Thank you very much. Satyajit is saying that the slice story is very useful to understand the benefit of marketing. Yes, it is. It's a story I got from, to give due reference and to the credit where credit is due. I learned it from Seth Godin. So there's a influencer and a very powerful marketer and author called Seth Godin, and he talks about this sliced bread story. Even I learned it from there. Thank you so much. LinkedIn, if you are not connected, I will just share my LinkedIn profile. You can just add me on LinkedIn. Just a moment. I'll share my profile with you. This is my LinkedIn profile, and even the rest of you can share with everybody. What is your LinkedIn profile, and everybody can add each other. That'll be great. We'll be a community, and we can help each other then. So this is my LinkedIn. Please add me. I'll be happy to accept your requests and stay connected. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, reminder, please write on LinkedIn. It will help you and will help me. Please write on WhatsApp groups. It will help all the other people who didn't attend today. Okay, about your feedback. If you liked something, disliked something, anything, good, bad, ugly, you are free to write, and just write. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Great session. At least for me, I enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Take care, and bye.